change of venue for our podcast this morning. We're in Zugspitze, the highest point in Germany. Well, we think Steve Clark and the Scotland boys might have a mountain to climb, but I tell you what, they'll do well to get much better than this.
Honestly, we've just come up in a cable car from about 5 miles outside Garmisch, and it's a bit of a ride, isn't it?
Absolutely,
it's magnificent, this glass bottomed cage. Luckily we're both brave travellers, because there's a point halfway up, Robert, where you're climbing nice and gently, and then it dips under a cable and changes direction, and it's a bit like a roller coaster, which is a bit like our Euros are at the moment.
I can't say I like that point, to be perfectly honest with you. It was a bit brutal, but listen, as you say, that's what it's been so far. But by all accounts, the Scotland players came up here yesterday and they maybe get a bit of sense of perspective. That's certainly for sure, given the views up here. How high are we?
We are 9,000 feet above sea level. On the other side from here, which unfortunately they haven't opened yet this morning, because they're opening their restaurant soon, but you can see 400 peaks. We see about 100 behind us, another 400 on the other side, and on a clear day you can see the Allianz Arena. So I'm pretty pleased for the players that when they came yesterday it was very cloudy, because that's the last thing they wanted to see.
Yeah. Say, we were talking to Steve Clark yesterday, we mentioned that in the chat we had, that he was trying to kind of get Friday's result kind of in the past, finish with it. You think the boys can just look ahead now? We need to kind of try and build positivity again ahead of the game against Switzerland.
I think so. I mean, Kieran Tierney was talking about that, where you know, they've got it out their system now. They've all got each other's backs, as a phrase he uses. We're icing each other up. Got each other's backs.
Steady.
Yeah. And it's young person's talk, Robert, just beyond us.
That sounded a bit dodgy.
No. It just means we're all with each other,
okay.
And we're cool. And you know, you have to, again, we've said this before, you have to trust them that they know where they're at, they know what they're doing, and that they're going to be ready to go, because you know, Wednesday night in Cologne is just as big as it gets for us now.
Yeah, as we said yesterday, and we were talking about it last night over a beer, Steve Clark has had so much praise for the job he's done in the last few years as Scotland manager. I think we all agree with that. He's done phenomenally well, but he is open to criticism, isn't he, for the team that he picked, maybe the tactics, the way the team went about it, the fact that the boys didn't turn up. But equally, he's got such a great opportunity still.
Yes.
You know, we've got two massive games coming up in this Switzerland game. If we can get a point at least, it takes into the last game and it just builds it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, Kieran Tierney was very balanced about it, because he said we always knew the Germany game wasn't going to be the be all and end all for us. That wasn't the game that would tell us if we were going to qualify or not. However, the scale of the defeat hit them very hard. That's been the issue they've had. Now, Steve Clark yesterday faced things up, certainly to the written press, very, very well. He's all the man he's ever going to be. He's a 60-year-old man. He's been there, he's done it, he's had worse results than Friday night in his life. You know, he's had sackings and he's had whatever else. He can deal with it. Yeah. But now they have to show, the talking's done.
Yeah.
They need to show it.
What would you like to see in the team wise if we build up? I mean, the right wing back slot, I think, is maybe something they could look at.
Yeah.
James Forrest, I think, could come into contention. I know Ross McCrory's there, but you think we need to go a bit more positive for the game? Is that something you think could happen?
I think we have to. I mean, we're not built to play for a draw in the first place. I think we have to be on the front foot. I think James Forrest is a good option for that right wing back. He would give you more. You know, he's not going to give you the defensive capabilities, but with a solid back three, they should be shuffling across to help him anyway. Midfield again. The talk is, does Billy Gilmour come back in? Does Callum McGregor stay? And we go back to the same, revolving argument again. Yeah,
I think Billy Gilmour, as I said at the start, I think the way he keeps the ball was going to be vital, as we spoke about in the last game. But maybe as you play alongside Callum McGregor, maybe is that the way to go? Does maybe Ryan Christie drop out? As much as I was talking Ryan Christie up last week, he was one of the guys that kind of toiled. I thought on Friday night. But listen, there's going to be big decisions for the manager to make, and it's up to the guys probably in training the next day or two to try and impress them. That's still an opportunity there for them to kind of get a position in the team.
Yeah, they have to. I mean, they have to be even hungrier than they were. They told us how hungry they were. They told us how come out. We saw them singing the anthem. We saw how passionate they were. It then just hit them like a frying pan in the face on Friday night. We can't have that again. We need to be the ones this time who do what the Germans did. Take the kick off, get the ball moving, get on the front foot, don't let them out.
Yeah, I'd like to see, when Germany took the kick off, they actually played a long ball forward, which I think Steve Clark spoke about this. It spooked the players. It's probably the last thing they expected, but I thought we did that far too much against the Germans. We knocked the ball too long, and that's not our game. We've been a team that's passed it and worked through the pitch and they need to get back to that, I think. And you agree that there's no point in going long or trying to play
we need
long balls to Shea Adams or whoever's up front. We need to try and play.
Our strength is in that midfield box, and I think when Gilmer plays, we have the capacity to hold it, move it, and gradually make yourself what they talk through the phases now, and the trendy people talk about, and that's what we need to be doing. The idea of having the ball at the back, knocking it for Shea Adams, who's 30 yards isolated, and not getting it, but it's very old fashioned, it's very old Scotland, but it just gets you nowhere. And even if you watch, for instance, Serbia against England, although they never really looked like they were going to put a dent in England, they were so solid and compact. We against the Germans were so open and wide, and we just can't be there.
Yeah. What did you make? I was going to come on that, actually. England, we watched the game last night. They were quite unimpressive, you know. They got the job done, they got the win, but it was a typical England performance. Kind of first game, they just get a job done, which I suppose is a sign of a good team. I
think they're very laboured on the ball. I've thought this for the last couple of years. For the players they have, you know, your Phil Fodens and Declan Rice and Alexander Arnold, boys that can really move. I thought they were very laboured, but they have in Jude Bellingham a guy who can produce a goal like that. I mean, that was the bravery of that header. It wasn't his ball to win. And the boy is just, we saw him at Hampden. He's in a different planet just now, isn't he?
Yeah, unfortunately he is. For England, I think he'll get a real chance. You know, he's a proper player, and it makes him a proper team. But listen, the Scotland fans, if we get back to that, will they still be believing, Bill? Do you think they've still got the belief? Because we were in Munich with them. They were positive, as they always are, but do you think deep down they'll believe still that Scotland can get the point at least we need against the Swiss to carry it into the last game?
We have to. I mean, I would imagine the ones that are in Cologne, we won't have the same numbers in Cologne as we had in Munich, and I think a lot of people in Munich were there for a weekend with, you know, mop on the wains. So the ones that stay, the ones that go up to Cologne, whatever it is, 10,000, whatever, will now be going and saying, right, this is the game, this is the one. And I think if they come away, I said this yesterday, if we come away from that having performed the way we did in Munich, I think people will be very unhappy at the amount of money they've spent to come here and been shortchanged. So everybody knows in the squad what they have to do. It's doing it, that's the thing. You know, and even us talking about it every day, you say, I just want to get there. You just want to get there now, and this game to get played, and for us to make a dent, to go there and say, you know, get on the front foot, get a goal up, and have something to work with. You know, because we a point might be okay. We'll know the Germans scored by the time we start the game. A point might be okay, but we need to go for 3 points. We really have to go for 3 points.
We've got the Scotland press conference this afternoon. Grant Hanley, I believe, is going to be the player speaking to us. Does he start? Is he someone you think comes in and starts against the Swiss, or is he still a bit match more short on match fitness as I think he is?
I think the thing we noticed, especially in the Finland game with Grant, is that one of his big assets was pace, and his pace was lacking. He got run a couple of times by guys on his outside. I felt as if Scott McKenna maybe did enough, and I know Hanley was on before him, came on at half time. Scott McKenna came on fairly late for Kieran Tierney. He gave us the threat that led to the own goal, that gave us some sort of glimmer of something, and I think maybe Scott's earned it. But it's another big choice for Steve Clarke, because, you know, we didn't come with a million centre half choices, and we've lost one already in Ryan Porteous. So I'd maybe go McKenna before Hanley on current form.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think it's a big decision for Steve Clarke to make. I think he has to get it right. He'll know in training, he'll be seeing the guys in training every day to see how he's fit. He likes Grant Hanley, he really does like Grant Hanley. I fit well Grant Hanley, but is he? You know, I just think he's short, and I think Scott McKenna, and it maybe told a story that Scott McKenna came on in the game against Germany, so maybe he is the one that's kind of impressing more in training, who's more up to speed. So he may be the guy that's going to come in.
I like Big Scott. He's honest, he's strong as a horse, he's very quick. He's left-sided, the same as Kieran Tierney is, so it's maybe a disadvantage for him because he came on for Tierney, which is maybe in Hanley's favour, that it's a right-sided player we're kind of looking for, and he's more on that foot. But listen, whoever plays, the job's just got to be done. There's absolutely no excuses for saying, team selection was wrong, whatever. We just have to go and play this game and win this game. There's just no other resolution for this.
Absolutely. Well, this morning's all been all about a sightseeing trip for us this morning. It was that cable car ride was something else, I have to tell you.
And he's now got to go on the one back down again to the glacier. We're going to go down now the other side to the glacier. Actually, if you went about 100 feet that way, you're in Austria.
Yeah.
So
can we see Switzerland from here?
No.
Hopefully we don't see much of the Swiss on Wednesday. Thanks for that.